What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Marco, and welcome to episode 7 of Weekend Conversation. So if you couldn't tell, if you watched my History Maker baseball video, I'm wearing the exact same outfit because I'm actually recording this on the same night because I'm going to be out of town by the time you see this. So I wanted to get out ahead of it, so I keep putting out content for you guys to enjoy. Really appreciate that. And for those of you who liked and commented the History Maker baseball game, thank you very much. That was a hell of a game. I did not expect the comeback that the Cubs had. I did not plan that. If you could tell in the video, I was kind of feeling a little down. I'm like, oh my God, this is the first History Maker baseball game that I'm broadcasting, and the Cubs are really going to get skunked. Jeez, I can't believe they came back and won that. If you haven't checked it out, please go and watch that video. I will put the link down below, and I'll make a note to myself. Put link below, HMB. Please do go watch that video. It's pretty good. All right, so what I want to talk about today, and I've been teasing this video for a little while, and I felt like this would be a good time to do it, considering the next time you see me will be Thanksgiving week, which means it's going to be Black Friday week. By the way, if you want to check out sales, Black Friday sales, head over to the Digital to Dice podcast. I will shout them out and put the link down below to their podcast. Every year they do a Black Friday setup, so you can see what games are going to be going on sale. So go check that out. Really worth your time. So I decided to do this video today because I want to talk about folks who are maybe a little apprehensive about buying Play games because they don't like the qualities aspect, or they think that the qualities aspect is a little too different or inaccurate for them. So what I did, and I understand that this is a very small sample size, but I did think that this was a really good way of testing out the different game engines. So I actually went ahead and I played the 2015 Stanley Cup Final between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2 different games. I played it in APA and I played it in Hockey Blast, which I have yet to put the Hockey Blast video out there. That's coming out probably after Thanksgiving, but look forward to showing that game off. Phenomenal game. And I took very detailed stats of both games, and then I went and compared both of those stats to what really happened in the real Stanley Cup. And I got to say that the results were pretty staggering in a good way. Again, I understand that this is very, very small sample size, but I'm sorry, I'm just not going to go do a whole full 162-game baseball season. And Highlight Maker Hoops, you can't really do this because that is so abstracted. Really, the only games that you could do this with is probably History Maker Golf would be a good one. Soccer Blast would be a good one. Hockey Blast would be a good one. And History Maker, I should have brought up my History Maker Golf stats because I did the 2022 season, and I gotta say the results, although I did put in Tiger Woods in prime Tiger Woods in that set, so that skewed the data a bit, but it did. If you look at the FedEx Cup standings and then my final standings, it's pretty close. And I'm seeing the same thing actually in Let's Play Tennis. I'm playing last year's pro season, and Carlos Alcaraz is rolling through, and he rolled through last season, and Berrettini's really good, and Zverev is very good, and Djokovic and Nadal, they're all very good, so it is pretty close to the counterpart. But I really wanted to look at hockey because hockey, in my opinion, is really hard to replicate, number one, and number two, it's kind of hard to accurately get stats, and I have to say that both APA Hockey and Hockey Blast did pretty amazing. Okay, so I am going to put this on the screen in post-production, but I'm going to talk you through it right here. So in the real Stanley Cup, the Blackhawks won in 6 games, in the real thing in 2015. In APA and Hockey Blast, in both games, my Blackhawks Lightning series went the full 7. In APA, the Lightning won it in Game 7, and in Hockey Blast, the Blackhawks won it in 7. So, if you're looking for exact replication, neither game technically got it right because the Hawks won in 6. Both games went to 7, but Hockey Blast got it right. APA technically got it wrong. In terms of goals scored, this was pretty staggering. There were 13 goals scored in the series by the Blackhawks and 10 by Tampa Bay. That's it. Just 23 goals scored in the entire series in 2015. Well, in APA, it was 16 goals scored by the Blackhawks. They were off by 3, and 13 goals scored for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So they were off by 3 for the Lightning as well. In Hockey Blast, they were dead on. 13 goals for the Blackhawks and 11. So they were one off. 11 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. As for your goal scorers, I think both games kind of got this wrong in terms of your leading goal scorers. Although, if you think back to that series, and I could see that series in the back of my head, both first lines of each team actually really didn't score all that much. It was those second and third liners, and the stats show it. For example, there were only 3 players that got 2 goals in the entire series, and that was Teuvo Teravainen, Antoine Vermette, and Brandon Saad. All Blackhawks players got 2 goals each in the series. As for the APA, well, it was a whole lot of Patrick Kane. He got 4 goals. And Duncan Keith and Jonathan Toews got 2 goals apiece. In Hockey Blast, Kane had 2 goals and Duncan Keith had 2 goals. So both games didn't really get the goal scoring right, which I don't fault the games for that, to be honest with you, because, look, hockey, again, it's one of those weird sports, right, where it's so hard to score, to find goal scorers. I mean, pucks are flying all over the place. They're deflecting off of sticks. I think APA does a little bit better job of finding the deflections and the block shots and the ricochets and the weird stuff that happens, whereas Hockey Blast is you have to set up every shot. It's the 3-2-1 or it's the 4-3-2, meaning 3-2-1, meaning 3 and 2 get the assist and the 1 is the shooter. And then you look at the stars, and then the stars tell you what quality of a shot it is. So it could be a crappy shot, which is a 0 or 1 star. It could be a 2-star or 3-star shot. And of course, the higher the stars, the better chance the puck has of going in the net. It's so hard to find goal scorers. So I don't really fault Hockey Blast or APA Hockey for getting that wrong. But again, I think that was just a very weird series. I mean, listen to what I just said. Here, I'll pull it up on the iPad, and we could really go through it. Teuvo Teravainen, here. Oh, that's the regular season. I just want to see the... Well, Cedric Paquette and Alex Killorn got 2 goals apiece in real life, which, by the way, Paquette had 2 goals in Hockey Blast. I think he had 1 goal in APA Hockey. So maybe they did get the Tampa goal scorers right, but the Blackhawks goal scorers not so much. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, especially in Hockey Blast, Patrick Kane is 3 stars. I mean, Toews, I think, is 2 stars. So those guys are going to get a lot of goals. Okay, let's talk about the goaltenders. I thought this one was pretty wild, too. So in real life, Ben Bishop had 144 saves, while Corey Crawford had 126 saves. Now, God, guys, I mean, check this out. So in APA Hockey, Ben Bishop had 149 saves. So they were 5 shots off in the entire series. And in Hockey Blast, he had 146 saves. 2 shots off. 2 shots off in a 7... By the way, it's in 7 games. The real series only went 6. And that's a little bit skewed because they had backup goalies. I didn't play any backup goalies, so it kind of makes sense. By the way, both games got Corey Crawford way wrong. So Corey Crawford in real life only had 126 saves. And I say only because... 151. I don't know what I was looking at. 151 saves on 161 shots. Okay, so he had 151 saves I was looking at the wrong thing. So let me change my notes here. I apologize. 151 saves. Now, this looks a lot better now. In APA, he had 139 saves, so way off. And on Hockey Blast, he had 171 saves in a 7-game series. 171 saves. So they were still 20 saves off, but still not that bad. So, again, as I pull back up here. So, pretty close. Pretty close overall, I would say. So, good job by both teams. And by the way, in my opinion, the Play games was closer. The proof is in the numbers. Now, again, small sample size. I would love to see what a 162-game baseball season looks like. Of course, I don't have the time to do that. I just don't. It would be really interesting to see just how close it is. But I think this whole qualities versus stats, okay? Another thing that, again, I just love so much about the Play game system and the qualities is it really builds the narrative. It really builds the narrative. When you're looking at an APA card, for example, or a Strat card, all you're looking at is numbers on a piece of paper and your brain is doing the math on what that means. Versus if you look at a Hockey Blast card or a Soccer Blast card or a History Maker baseball card, and in Sammy Sosa it says slugger. Everybody knows what a slugger is. What's a whiffer? I mean, you could guess that he whiffs a lot. What does that mean? Swing and miss. In hockey, there's hit. Yeah, there's hits in hockey. There's star in hockey. Playmaker. There's, for pitchers, everyone knows what an ace is. Flash, you can figure it out. Is he as a high strikeout pitcher? That narrative sense versus in APA. I think APA, and again, it's a phenomenal game, and I am in no way, shape, or form crapping on APA. In no way, shape, or form. But in APA, unless you really know what you're talking about, or you have a lot of experience playing the game, if you roll a 31 and there's a number next to it, and the number says 15, after playing the game for a while, you know what 15 means, but 15 doesn't mean anything to the layperson. It doesn't mean anything. Slugger, you know what slugger means. You know what ace means. You know what hit means. You know what star means. And that, again, it just flows to the narrative. And then the other thing, again, about Play games that is just so spectacular is when you actually read the charts, there's narrative flow. I mean, again, I divert your attention back to the History Maker baseball game I just played with the Cubs that they won on a walk-off. Sorry, spoiler alert. They won on a walk-off, and it went to a fence, and it literally says, deep fly ball, center field, gone. That's what it says on the chart. Versus in APA, in Strat, in pretty much every other game I've ever played, you roll the dice, it's a 12, you go on the chart, you look for 12, sometimes it'll tell you to look somewhere else, but it'll say home run. And it's up to you, and it's up to theater of the mind to build that idea. What did the home run look like? Was it to left field? Was it to right field? Was there a play? Did the outfielder make the stretch? Did the ball just graze off his glove? Was the batter hot? Was the batter cold? Is he a slugger? That's what I mean. So, for you hardcore gamers out there, and you're worried perhaps that you won't get accurate readouts, I'm here to tell you I am co-signing and saying that is false. And to sort of curb your feelings a little bit, and again, and I put it away, I wish I hadn't, but Play Games includes in History Maker Baseball a nice sheet that talks about what do the ratings mean. So, and I'm going from memory here, so I may miss a few things, but it'll say like, ace is, this guy's ERA is 2.50 and below, 2.5 and below. A struggler, he's 6 and up. Home run king, he is a 50. If you were to play 162 games with this player, he's going to hit in the neighborhood of 50 home runs. Could be more, could be less. It's the law of averages. He is going to average 50 home runs in a 162 game season. If he's a slugger, it's more like 30 home runs. If he doesn't have any designation, it's about 10 home runs. If he's a sad sack, he's a 250 and below, actually 150 and below hitter, versus if he's a champion, he's Tony Gwynn. He's a 350 hitter. He's Ted Williams. So it really breaks down for you, what do the ratings mean, and you could sort of in your head figure out, oh, okay, that's what he does, that makes sense. Drawbacks. I do have to mention a few drawbacks, and what you're going to get from me is total honesty. I'm never going to, I may sell you on something, but it's not, my intention with this channel is to just give you my honesty, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And although it may seem like an act, I can promise you it's not an act. I'm genuinely happy when I play these games. But that also means I'm going to give you honest feedback. And one honest feedback about Play games is, if you are trying to do like a fictional season, or you're trying to build a team, or maybe you're playing an older season, or you're trying to make lineup decisions and you're not quite sure who to put where, the qualities can suck a little bit. They really can. And what I mean by that is, if you're like me and you're trying to construct a baseball lineup, and I want to put my high OBP guys first, and then I want my sluggers in, the 2, 3, and 4 holes, something like that. And I want my speedsters in the 5 hole. Maybe I want a double leadoff, and I'm trying to think of how I want to construct my roster, right? Well, if you're playing Strat or even APA and the statistics are right there on the card, I know, okay, this guy's got a high OBP, so I'm going to put him here. This guy's average is a little lower, but he's got 55 stolen bases. That's a lot, so I'm going to put him at 5. This guy's got 40 home runs. This guy's only got 22, so I want him in the 4 and the other guy in the 5 or whatever. There's none of that in any of the Play games. You have to know what those qualities mean, and even so, the qualities are based on an average. So, and I get it, so are the ratings in the other games, but it's hard to look at a player card and decipher whether he is a big-time home run hitter, which, okay, if he's got slugger, home run king, yes, he is. Or does he get on base a lot? So is he patient, or is he a champion? You have to know instinctively what those ratings mean in order to know that that's what that guy does well. If you don't know that, you're going to get stuck. And that was the big wall that I kept running into that kept me away from the History Maker baseball game for a little while, which was, the game seems awesome. I would watch videos all the time. Wow, this game seems really awesome, but I don't know if I like the qualities, because I like constructing lineups how I like to construct them, and it's going to be really hard for me to figure out, especially if I'm playing 98, right? Like, at 98, sure, I was alive and I was paying attention, but I don't know who the big 6 hitter was for the Colorado Rockies. I have no idea. But I could kind of figure it out if I saw his stats. And again, you can solve all this by just going on baseballreference.com and figuring it out for yourself, because at the end of the day, the cards are based off the real-life counterparts, so you can figure it out pretty quickly. So this is not too big of a hurdle, but I can understand if you just want to whip out the cards, take a look, and set a lineup, it might be a little bit more difficult for Play games. But to wrap today's video, a little bit shorter of a weekend conversation, but to wrap today's video, if you are worried about statistical accuracy in qualities versus ratings, I think you're mistaken. I think the accuracy is still there. In Soccer Blast, Ronaldo behaves like Ronaldo. Mbappe behaves like himself. In History Maker Baseball, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire hit a lot of home runs. They strike out a lot. Frank Thomas hits a lot of home runs. He sure as heck strikes out a lot. Pedro Martinez for the Red Sox strikes out a lot of batters, and he can go deep into games. In golf, Tiger Woods behaves like Tiger Woods, and Scotty Scheffler behaves like Scotty Scheffler. And even in racing, the drivers behave like their real life counterparts. So they have something in the secret sauce there with the qualities over the ratings. So to put a nice, pretty little bow on today's short video, I would say do not be deterred by play games because of qualities and not ratings. The qualities are just a different way of doing it, and you know what? APA and Strat have been doing it for 60 years, and it is really refreshing to see it done a little bit different way to get a very similar result. And some would say a much more fun result. I don't know if I agree with that. Some days I do. Some days I go back to my Strat games and I take a deep breath and just say, oh, yeah, that familiar feeling. I really missed it. So don't be afraid to dive into a play game because of qualities. If you've been lurking around on YouTube and you've been seeing qualities and you're, I don't trust that. What the heck is that? Stop. You're doing yourself a disservice. Pick yourself up a play game, especially with the holidays coming around, and give one a try. I just showed you, and I got my notes here. I just showed you in Hockey Blast. Again, small sample. I'm not going to shy away from that. Hockey Blast was closer than APA in a 7-game Stanley Cup Final Series in statistics. Closer. Hockey Blast was. It's pretty crazy. So that's going to do it for today's weekend conversation. I hope everybody enjoys their weekend. If I don't see you before the Thanksgiving holiday, not sure if I'm going to get a video out before then. I hope you have a very, very happy Thanksgiving. I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot to be thankful for, especially my hobby and the great people in the hobby that make it what it is. So thank you, everyone, this Thanksgiving, and hug a loved one. Tell them you love them. And we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.